This is WQXI, TV channel 11, Atlanta, Georgia, and it's time now for the Pro News Sunday Noon Report for this Sunday, December 17, 1972. You're not Peter Wiggins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins. It is what's happening on Pro News for this Sunday afternoon, December 17, 1972. Judge Luther Hames Jr. temporarily shot the F-100 jets out of the Cobb County sky Friday afternoon with a 60-day injunction prohibiting the Georgia Air National Guard from servicing them at the Dobbins Air Force Base. The Cobb County Superior Court ruling was mainly a morale victory for the opponents of the supersonic jets at Dobbins. The order will not halt preparations for the aircraft, which are still to arrive in the spring. The injunction now requires Georgia Assistant Attorney General Hensel Harris to provide 60 days a United States Air Force report on the safety of the F-100. He must also produce an environmental study on the effect of noise from the supersonic jets. The injunction is a result of a lawsuit filed by Dr. Cecil Gorgon, a Smyrna chiropractor, who argued that the F-100s are unsafe, are too noisy, and will hurt his practice and will only further congest metropolitan flight patterns. The Georgia Air National Guard has planned to deploy the F-100s at the Dobbins and move C-124 transports to Savannah, as wing headquarters can remain in Marietta. The Georgia Air National Guard contends that the F-100s will replace the C-124s in Savannah in this year. Also, following Judge Hames' ruling Friday afternoon, both Judge General Joel B. Pierce III and Assistant Attorney General Harris refused to discuss the case. "I have no comment," was the reply both gave. One of the Harris's major contentions in the suit is that the court has no jurisdiction because the decision to base the F-100s on Dobbins was a political and executive order made by Governor Jimmy Carter, which is not subject to judicial review. Judge Hames offered the state chance Thursday to appeal his jurisdiction to the ruling of the case to the Georgia Supreme Court before any testimony was heard. But Harris declined and decided to proceed with 2 days of testimony. Hames reiterated his desire Friday afternoon to have some direction from a higher court to his jurisdiction to rule in the case. Governor's decision, but Harris declined to say whether he will bring them question to the state Supreme Court while the 60-day injunction in effect. Following the injunction ruling Friday, plaintiff attorney J.M. Grubbs would say little more than assistant. But Grubbs did remark that the injunction is a proper decision. "We don't want it deployment of the F-100s at Dobbins. Something a proper decision, but so far there's been no indication that it is." Grubbs will draw up to the injunction and present to the Judge Hames day. The formal document will more thoroughly outline Hames' verbal decision in writing. Hames' injunction order came after testimony Thursday by Colonel Charles H. Allen, a civilian technician in the Air National Guard, who prepared an environmental impact statement on the effect of the deployment of the F-100 Dobbins. Allen said that the statement was not fully studied and that it was only brought Marietta C.W. Mathis Contracting Company, which has already completed its 2 soft cob drives. With the name projects presented the lowest bid of the 3 firms Friday for a 3rd phase of the 4-laning soft cob drive. The contract will be awarded to one of the 3 firms Thursday by the State Department of Transportation, and work will begin in January for the 2.5-mile stretch for the Smyrna city limits northeast of Old Concord Road. Engineers expected and resurfacing and 4-laning work to be completed for auto travel by July. The Matthews Company will be bidding at $2,563,417.70, while the next lowest bid came from the S.H. Hudson Contracting Company of Atlanta, was $2,069,976.50. The 3rd bid was presented by the Ledbetter Brothers Construction of Rome and was for $2,925,071.40. When the latest project is completed in July, Cobb County Motors will be traveling on 4 lanes of South Cobb Drive, which extends for about 6 miles from Marietta to the Smyrna city limits, including the bids, which were received Friday. There have been 2 other contracts awarded as far on widening and resurfacing South Cobb Drive. Both are completed and both went to the Matthews Contracting Company. Department of Transportation and Information Officer Bill Brandt said last week a 4th bid let in for about 3.2 miles, which would complete for a laning of the South Cobb Drive from Marietta to the perimeter of Interstate 285 will likely come in mid-1973. Route plans have not been formally approved yet. Brandt said the Highway Board, which recommends state highway projects, was considering extending the widening of South Cobb Drive past the perimeter end of Fulton County Drive. Paul Marker didn't want to go to school anymore. He told his parents the other kids made fun of him because he came to high school in workman's overalls. "If you buy me real pants, I'll go to school," the teenager told his father. "I have reasonable requests for most families, but not for the Markers." Paul, age 16, was a size 60 waist, and the total income for the Marker family is $400 a month. Do you know how much it costs to dress a boy who wears a size 60 and weighs about 300 pounds? Jeff Marker, the boy's father, asked for Paul Stadelman's 8 It's a pity. Paul's a brilliant boy. School officials thought it was a pity too, because to look to the Paul situation. The Marker family ended up in the office of the County Emergency Aid Association. Clothing was bought for Paul, and he went back to school. The age he learned when talking to the family that the problem was more than pants. The father had a heart condition and was crippled with him from a hip injury. He needed corrective shoes, and mother had diabetes and arthritis. There were 3 children at home with Paul, the oldest. The whole family was too fat. Paul received psychological counseling, and immediately convinced the family to see a doctor who needed to put him on a diet. One recent day, Jeff Buck was in the kitchen of a small country house that sits in back of the areas of South Cobb. A spicy aroma filled the house. Marker just
years back, according to court paperwork,
put a pot of butter, beans. He lit a large kettle, stewing chicken and stirred. A year ago, Tiny Shy Brown, headed 9-year-old with shining green eyes, was dreaming of what Santa would bring her for Christmas. It was last Christmas for little Debbie Rezo. Less than a month later, she was abducted from a coin laundry near a murder place home. 16 days after her cold, lifeless, wet body was found in a remote wooded area off Interstate 75. This is the time when most Cobb parents are busy playing Santa's elves for. Mrs. Janetta Hooker is at a time for looking at dolls and toys, so knowing that she no longer has a little girl to play Santa for. It is really rough for me this year. Every time I go to the store, I look at the toys and know I don't have a little girl to buy for. It's really turned me up, but I have had myself. I could live with it now, but it still hurts. Debbie always looked forward to Christmas. She still believed that Santa Claus, and she was always so happy. Mrs. Hooker recalled, we loved so much to watch her open all the presents. Mrs. Hooker had 2 sons, but they are older than now. No, but Santa Claus was so just won't be the same without little Debbie, although it was 11 months ago. Wednesday, then, Debbie was kidnapped. At least 2 people who have refused to give up hope and the abductor someday will be found. I will never give up hope that they will find him, Mrs. Hooker said. I believe one of these days he did was have to tell somebody what he did, and I just don't have believe that it could go on forever without telling somebody. But Mrs. Hooker is a realist. When they find them, they will not bring my baby back, but it might help someone. She's a little girl, she said. Debbie's mother is not only the person in the county who believes that the murderer someday will be found. Sitting in his cubbyhole office at the remote end of the Marietta Police Department, Captain Bill Elliott vividly recalls the night he began to search for his little 9-year-old girl. It was a Thursday night. January 13th was dark and foggy and trying to rain the tall, lanky police captain recalls. I was at home when I got the call that she was missing. I feel sad when I think about it, and I feel like I missed something in my investigation, Elliott said, but I feel confident that someone may not me will be break this case, and we are going to find out who it is, and it may be today, so tomorrow, or next year, and I won't forget it for one day.
$19.5 million to other.
Elliott feels a personal involvement in the Rendell case. I feel like she may. Now to the weather. If you are about 71 years old, you may recall the last time Cobb County and Fulton County turned as cold as Sunday morning as the 15 degrees predicted. That record low for December 17 was set in 1901 according to weather notices. A cold, dry air mass moved down from Minnesota, May set a new low for the day. Saturday's high was expected to be 40 degrees with winds tapering off Saturday night. Sunday's high will be in the low 40s. No rain predicted in the next several days. Winds Sunday are expected to be light and variable. Monday they are expected to come from the southwest, warming the country up to the 50s.
And killed Joseph Morante of Revere. It happened in July inside the Tremont Street iWorld accessory store. Police used the surveillance video to track Brown. He has been held without bail since his arrest last month. The Boston's fire commissioner is stepping down. Roderick Frazier will resign in January with Mayor Tom Menino when his term ends. Frazier, who's battled union leaders during his 7-year tenure, says he was not forced out and he will be looking for new opportunities, but this time in the private sector. Mega Millions is inching toward a lottery record. Tonight's jackpot is up to $586 million.
It's 13 degrees below normal. And Sunday is expected to be average 17 degrees less than normal today. The state's forecast for Saturday call for conditions similar to Cobb's with highs expected to range in from the low 30s in the north to the mid 50s in the south. Sunday night's lows should be near 20 in the north and near 30 in the south. Right now, current conditions at Hartsfield Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, we got a temperature of noontime 31 degrees with a wind chill about 21 degrees with a dew point about 3 degrees, visibly 30. Now 10 miles per hour, humidity 31%, barometer 3.72 inches, winds north about 7 inclination, clear skies.
A disaster in the New Hampshire.
In sports, today the Atlanta Falcons will be at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta to end their 1972 regular season as they host the Kansas City Chiefs. And And that's great for the Pro News Noon Report on this Sunday afternoon, December 17th, 1972. I'm Peter Wiggins. I hope you have a good afternoon, and I'll be back at 6:30. Have a good evening.
Will hit the